I literally just spent like a whole 20 minutes trying to walk you through the joint, sitting on the Facebook and everything, and I'm the wrong one. I'm
17
the
minutes of
dirtbag.
that 20 was berating her.
I was who?
Like,
yo, I said she told me I can't.
Remember how to copy and paste the link? Hey,
you
remember how I showed you that?
Fuck you, son.
You gotta go in the next lobby.
You, son. No, no, you didn't hear her yell at me, tell me I can't call her ma'am. I said, yes, ma'am. So you better not call me.
I said,
ma'am
if you
again.
call me that one more, if you ma'am me one more time.
But it was because he had a condescending tone on it. What is it? He was like, ma'am.
No,
ma'am.
he just couldn't remember my name because he kept sending me other comics links.
Yeah.
With it. That's why I'm mad with it. With it. With it. That's why I'm mad with it. Get out the trap with it. Whatever you want, whatever you need, it's on tab, get it. That's why I'm mad with it. That's why I'm mad with it.
That's where I'm at. Okay, you chasing clout? Oh no way, your shit turn.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the I'm Getting Trouble podcast with your boy Eddie Liles. Terrance G is in the building. And we have one of my favorite. I literally put this up yesterday. One of my favorite people to talk to. Miss Robin Montague is here. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
Miss Robin Montague. Yo, who I'm not supposed to call Miss. I can't call her ma'am. I just gotta be like Robin. Like
Yes.
Robin.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Like I wasn't a baby watching you on Def Jam.
Right. I'm saying like there's a reverence here. Like I feel like I'm like who am I to call you Robin? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
but you guys are worthy. You're worthy.
No.
Wait, I can't get my thing right. Listen, I'm having all type of technical difficulty. I don't think any of these headphones really work.
Yeah, we can hear you clear. When you use them, it's coming through clear. Good.
Okay, you guys, thank you. But I don't be feeling like that I'm, an icon or such.
Or a legend.
But because I just like that, I'm not old enough for that, even though I'm super old. I'm like 113. But don't tell nobody.
You did.
Oh,
yeah,
dang.
that's on you.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Oh my Lord Jesus. Listen, so I spent 30 minutes on the phone with Robin yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Because she was like, I'm gonna prepare for this. I got this. I took notes. I know what y'all do here. Cause look at this shit.
Professional.
Like I'm like,
Professional.
we ain't shit. We just two dickheads that just
exactly what he said. Exactly what he said.
I was getting all, sharp and making sure I knew every talking point. Like I know that Terrance, you from Kansas, but now you're living in the other place, Oklahoma, somewhere else. I got it in my notes. I know about Lee, that his wife made him move, forced him to move to another place because when I was watching. And shout out to all the comedians that you guys have been interviewing because I've been watching the podcast, studying and everything.
Yeah.
And you guys do a great job. Not with me, but with the other ones that I saw.
That's because again, Eddie failed on a few different levels here.
No, I didn't. I messed up one part
to the podcast.
I messed up one part, bro.
But it was the crucial part. It was at the very end.
It was basically the part to get Robin here. That was the part that you messed up, which basically means that the interview doesn't go.
I can't be perfect in everything, bro. I'm so good at so much stuff.
So many things.
Very
a lot of pressure.
Here he goes. DC Comedy Festival. Definitely.
No, I'm just saying we up and running in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Baltimore Comedy Festival tomorrow. It's like, and then you bring it up. Since you wanted to bring it up, you do know that Miss Robin was one of the first headliners on the DC Comedy.
Absolutely.
The first year.
The first year. So it was like, and so like I'm looking at, and I'm gonna tell you this what happened. So I don't do the submissions. So I'm going through, I'm looking at the list of the people they submitted. I'm like, why do I know this name, Miss Robin? Why do I know Robin Montague?
Right.
So then I'm going through. I'm like, yo, hold on. She gonna do it? She really going? It was. I was so happy. I was so happy for you to be there because you come from the Def Jam era of literally not. I want to say this the right way because it's still in PC code. You cared, but fuck y'all niggas. Like you come from that area of I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Like right around was it?
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think do you know why it changed so fast?
Why what changed
Like-
so fast?
Like how comedy changed so fast. Where y'all used to get away with everything, and now we can't get away with anything. The PC world.
Yeah, I can't explain it. It's just time and another generation. But yeah, we lucked out. You guys, I would not want to be starting at this time in comedy history because I would have, 2 minutes and an impression because I wouldn't be able to do the hour that I did in the 90s and the 2000s. So, but I'm still doing it now because funny.
So you still doing your shit, the same shit that you used to do back then?
Well, I mean, I'm still doing the same style. I'm still.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't change my outlook. I can't change my point of view. And I'm not afraid of anything. So I don't feel like I'm saying anything that's going to be too offensive to people. But I'm sure going to say what I feel. I don't necessarily. I don't censor myself in that. I don't want to say this because it might be offensive to the two, students in the back. I don't give a fuck,
Yo, she cussed like a sailor.
Yeah,
like I'm being honest with you, bro. She cussed like a sailor. No, I got to hang out with her a couple weeks ago. Like Miss Robin cussed like I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Because I'm from DC.
I'm
from DC.
Yep.
I didn't know that people didn't talk like that until I moved away and was like, oh, people don't say motherfucker every other word. What?
Bro, hold on. So somebody just came on. Who do we have on Terrance that was like, yo, I can tell you from DC now because I started getting exaggerant and I started. He was like, oh, you really are from DC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't remember who it was.
I forgot who it was.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people because. They look like the White House is here, the politics is here. Everybody in DC definitely learns how to put on a government worker's voice. Right? Like our code switching for work is a lot harder than I think other cities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like we learn how to do it. But when we
relax, we really relax. Because it is such a button down. I mean, it's the capital of the country, if not the world, in my opinion. It's the greatest city to be born and raised in. I really wouldn't be. I don't think I would have done as much as I did and have gone as far as I did. Just in terms of leaving, you know what I mean? Like most people don't leave their whole life. They don't leave.
Stay in the same
place.
But
I was like, when you can look at the Capitol and when you can go and smoke a doobie on the Lincoln steps of the Lincoln Memorial, you don't fear nothing.
What you should do if you haven't done yet. Like Nick, what? That's smoking down at the Capitol feels so good.
Yeah, it's like, and then I don't know how it is now because of everything, but when I was in high school and stuff, we could just go down there and we'd be on our way down and like, do we want to sit at the Jefferson Memorial or do we want to sit on Lincoln's feet? Like that was just like generally easy to do.
Y'all smoke.
No, we were just smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes, high school. Innocent. We were just smoking cigarettes.
Innocent.
You don't smoke weed, Miss Robin?
I am such a health nut. Even though I'm not into it, I like it when I read about it. I'm not answering your question. I already let the world know about my cursing situation, which is really messing up my plans for my Disney presentation.
Ooh,
but
lady, bye.
No, I'm
lady,
not gonna make it worse.
Lady, bye. Yeah, out of here.
Sexual Mickey Mouse cruise.
Disney is vying for some Robin Montague cartoon. She's so clean. He got such clean and Christian comedy for like all these years.
Get out of here. Yo, but you spoke on something because I'm about to start being by city. I'm about to be in New York and in DC.
Okay.
And you already do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that like when you left DC, it helped you, or like helped you get booked, or
definitely. Yeah.
But why is that? Why has it always been that you gotta leave, even though we're the nation's capital, you gotta go somewhere else? Why is that?
Because it's show business. Show business, the market for show business. It depends on, what you want your career to be. It depends on how far you want to go. There's nothing wrong with being a top dog in your local demographic.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if you want, to do more, nobody's coming to Northeast and knocking on my door and saying you want to be on HBO. I got to go to Hollywood. Come on now.
Right.
That's why it's that way. It's been that way for everybody. No, there's no actor in movies that, that they came to their house in Idaho and said, come and be Brad Pitt. He had to, you have to
Go
work
do
on
it.
it. You have to go.
But why do but it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Like how do you just up and leave? You know what I'm saying? Like, but even back then, like for you, a female, and I'm asking you because I'm like, you left in the 90s. You started doing the
probably before, maybe even before that. Yeah, no, I did. You listen, there's two things about being a comedian that I will impart. And I'm no expert. I'm no teacher. Like, I don't, like, people go, what do you want to tell the young comedians? Get away from me, basically. But,
it's real. It's real.
Because
you can say that to me.
It's compelling.
No, I do behind your back. So, but because people can pretend and all that, and especially now with you guys with the political correctness and everybody being nice and caring for everybody, and self-care, which is like, is that masturbate? When I first heard it, what does that mean? So, but I'm not that girl. Like I never raised kids. I don't know about kids. I don't know how to teach anybody anything. I've seen kids. I can see, I've seen them and I go, that's a child. I can recognize them, but I don't talk to them. I don't, but so the point is that the two things that I will say to them that I hope that they listen to is that there's two things about being a comic for me, in my estimation. And like, again, I'm not smart like that, but, one is no fear. You have to have no fear of anything, nothing. And you have to not be afraid of rejection. It's that simple, because it's going to be scary. First of all, what we do is scary from the jump.
Right.
And then two, you're going to get rejected. And then, and when you get rejected, you have to be able to bounce with that and continue.
I said that to somebody else. I was like, one of the things that I started learning was I don't ask people why I'm not on stuff. I just ask them, how can I get on stuff?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't choose me, it's like, yo, how can I get on it? And because people have to be able to say they don't want you. And if you ask them why, they're going to tell you why they don't want you, right? Is that even higher up too? Like when you start going to like the agents in New York and the showrunners in New York and in LA, do they do the same type of stuff? Like, it's like, if you go back to them and be like, well, why didn't you pick me? Or why didn't you pick my script? Like, they'll just like shit on you.
I don't know how it is now, because, when I go to submit things and stuff, I already pretty much know the people or whatever.
Okay.
But back, when I was coming up, it was, if they don't call back, then it's over. There's no going and asking the casting director, why didn't you pick me for that commercial? You didn't get it. It's over. And that's what I'm saying. You as the artist and the comedian and the actor, you have to deal with it. Ain't nobody fit to help you as far as, they don't have time to, they're picking two people. They're seeing 200. Do you really think that even if 10% of that 220 people call them to want to know why didn't you pick me, they ain't got time for that. They shooting the movie, the commercial. So yeah, you get rejected and you brush it off and you go on to the next one.
I think that's like somebody was saying. In terms, you can jump in at any time, man. Because
I'm sorry,
Terrance, like
Terrance. I'm talking.
No,
Yeah,
you
Terrance
good.
like
I
this
just
shit,
don't
like.
want to.
because he's listening. He's a real. See how he does, Eddie?
No, I don't know how to do that.
Clearly.
I don't know how to do that at all. No, because I was. Somebody said this to me, and then I started recognizing that it was true. Accessibility has changed the game.
Right.
Meaning, like because a lot of the producers, like myself, are comedians. And then a lot of the casting directors used to be wanting to be actors.
Right.
And then, you know what I'm saying? So everybody's in the mix with a whole rack of different people. So the accessibility to those people is so much easier now, especially with Facebook, Instagram, even if they're on another state. That people think it's so like, oh, this is the norm. I should be able to ask you why I can't get on. Right. And then it's like, you can do that. It's no problem. There's absolutely no problem for you to do that. But once you do, make sure you understand you have opened the door for some shit that you don't want to do.
Right. Be ready for the response. And
like back in the y'all day, y'all used to fight over stuff like this. Like not even over like the wives. I'm saying like y'all were way more aggressive in the city. Like Capone was telling us that he punched somebody in the stage. Like, I mean, punched somebody on stage because they did this. Like, was DC as brutal as we think it was back like in the 90s and in 2000s? Like, because everybody always talks about comics fighting all the time. Like DC and New York, matter of fact.
For me, it was in New York and LA. So we'd have to fight a lot. And then I was this tough little girl, right, from DC, and I was in LA in 1990 or whatever. And there were comics that so I would go to LA and I was on a couple things, right? Whatever, Comic View, whatever it was. And then I come back to New York. And in New York back then, every month there was a new person coming to town. Like I was there when Bill Burr came to town. And when this, there was always a new person coming to town. And so there were quite a few brothers at the same time. And quite a few of them would do bits that were my bits. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, you was smacking niggas?
This is almost like when it comes to like the weed question earlier. You can't be scared. So I just go up to a big old dude and say, "You watch Comic View a lot, huh?" And they know because they've actually done an entire thing that I did on. Not that it was genius or anything, but I'm just saying, back then we didn't have YouTubes and that. So if you got on something on BT or Comedy Central or whatever, it was important and everybody saw it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like there's 200 comics I can look at today and I might not see all of them, but back then so if I go back to New York and somebody was doing my bit, I just kindly go up to them and say, "Oh, you watch Jeff there a lot, huh?" And they know what I was talking about. And I'd just be like, "Yeah, I saw that." And,
So Bama's was taking people's jokes that were already on TV. Because that's the name of the game, right? Whoever gets to the TV first, or not the name of the game, but that's the name of the TV game.
That's kind of an unspoken rule. If it's on TV first. But there's also the thing that you might get it on TV before me, but that don't make it yours. So I'm still gonna fight you.
Yeah, true shit. Yeah, that's the one thing that I guess big dudes like me miss the most. Like I was born in the wrong era. Like I really wish, really wish I was like a comic back then. So it'd be like, because it's like it was. But like
nothing's stopping you from beating comics up right now, Eddie.
I don't. You could be a bully. I haven't fought any comic.
No, you're basically saying I wish I would have been a comic in the '90s so I could fight people. Like there's nothing stopping you now. Nothing stopping you now.
There's a lot of things stopping me right now.
Do it tonight. I guarantee you can do it.
I guarantee I can too. I guarantee I can too. And then I'll be in jail tomorrow. It'd be no more podcast. It'd be Terrance and Lloyd's podcast from now on.
This is my plan all along.
I want to be inside my This is podcast gentrification. True.
Because you need a female, you know.
Yeah, true.
You guys are amazing. No, I think
y'all just back in the day, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to beat up nobody. I'm just saying it was a lot more. I want to say respect, if that's a better way of like that's probably a better way of saying it. Like it was a lot more respect, and if there was any disrespect, it was a lot more consequences from the disrespect.
Right.
That's the point. You get what I mean?
Right.
Like if you stepped on somebody's shoe, it was like, oh my bad, bro. I apologize about that, man. I just scuffed your shoe, or you got your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Like
depending on how we felt, depending on how our show went.
Yep.
You steal my stuff, I gotta stand and know. I might leave you alone. Depending on how I'm feeling at the end.
So
go ahead.
So we're talking about stealing jokes and everything, and you're a writer, and I'm actually interested in your perspective from something like that, because oftentimes you hear, obviously stealing jokes is wrong. But when it comes to having your jokes stolen or done after the fact when you've had it on TV, as a writer, I've got to imagine there's got to be some semblance of flattery in there, but also then a level of determination to go forward. Does that push you forward, like further to like motivate you as a writer? Are you like, okay, yeah, all right, well, have this one too. Take this.
Terrance, that's a good point, because when it would happen to me, and to almost everybody, but as a writer, so there were girls that would like not necessarily at a certain point take the bits, but kind of take the style. And you gotta realize that back then there was a handful of us.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So like when I would work at Caroline's or the Improv or whatever in LA, and the audience would, love me or talking to me afterwards or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, and I'd be like, and we didn't have this technology, but we still try to push ourselves. So I'm like, I'm Robin Montague, and back then you would send a little note to the club, like I enjoyed the show. There were comment cards. And so I would say Robin Montague. Now Montague is, is a bizarre name, and they might not remember. So I'd say, if you don't remember, just say the Black girl. They're not going to be confused. It's two of us. And if you say the one that was here Saturday, it's not going to be a whole bunch of confusion about it.
Hold on.
If you say the dude, I like the comic name John or Chris, which one? But I like the Black girl from Saturday. Oh, that was Robin. It wasn't but a few of us. Holding it down, kicking open the doors.
That makes me a little bit more. That opens up another question for me, because female, like, it was already hard for females to get into comedy back, even like especially back then, right? Did the funnier females get the respect that they were supposed to? I'm asking this genuine. Like, I'm not being facetious about this at all. Like, if you all right now, if it's like, if you're a really funny female, like, we're like, oh nah, she fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out Frankie Frank, shout out Ashley Mayo, like from the DC area, right? It's like, if you bring up their name, everybody's like, man, she fucking dope.
Right.
Was that the same thing back then? Because I knew y'all weren't getting the shine that y'all should have.
Oh, sure, we were fine. And we were totally fine. They knew we were funny, Robin Harris knew we were funny. Steve Harvey knew we were funny. They knew we were funny. We worked with them. We were on the same lineup. So,
do you think it should have been more? Do you think more females should have got passed, or it just wasn't a lot more females around?
Dude, I don't know how many people got passed. I didn't work in the office. All I know is that's like saying, do I think more females should have decided to be comedians in the 90s? And again, I say no, thank you. Leave us alone. It's enough of us. I'm not adding more. It's fine.
So I like to also ask hard-hitting questions, Robin. So I'm ready for one. Are you ready for my first hard-hitting question of the evening?
Okay, Skip Bayless, let's go.
No. We're gonna go. Eddie, this is in your territory, so you just hold your little horses, fella. Robin, tell me how you feel about dick jokes.
Oh my God.
What do you mean? Hearing them?
hearing them, doing them, all of that. Just your stance on dick jokes when a comic, female, male, whatever, makes them.
I don't really have a stance on it. I just if it's funny, it's funny.
My stance is no. Don't.
If it's funny, it's funny. I'll take a funny. I think I have heard more funny dick jokes than I don't really like toilet humor jokes. I don't like fart and shit. I don't. So I don't. Even though they might be funny, I don't. That's what I don't. That's my personal. Right. I mean, I like dick, so I'm not gonna be totally opposed.
See, there we go. Now this leads into my next one. Now we've had several female comics on here, and I don't mean that comics is disrespect because you're a writer and a comic, so I mean that with all due respect. So come with that, but. We get women that come on here and say they've had some weird shit, aka Stiletto was on here and said she said,
I just was with her in Baltimore.
Send pictures of your feet. What does Robin Montague get in her DMs?
Oh, from fans?
Her face was priceless, son. Oh my God.
The sad part about it is I'm so stupid. It took me an additional like half a second to process it. Then I was like, oh, I got it.
I kind of know what I'm doing. I know timing. I'm saying anything or not. It's a muscle, dude. I don't gotta say nothing.
We talked about it yesterday, right? We was talking about this stuff. We was like, listen, like we gonna ask you questions. If you don't want, she was like, I'm just not gonna answer it. She told me that shit straight up.
Hey, I respect
I'm gonna try to, because she got a governor. Miss Robbie got a govern. Like, you know how a car can only go to 125. Miss Robbie can hit 150, but she like, I'm gonna let go of this.
This is what it's on tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all breathe tonight, yo. I'm gonna let you breathe tonight. Nah. So all right, Miss Robbie.
I like the question, Terrance. I really do. I appreciate, and it was a hard hitting, like you could be it was journalistic, but the fans. I love my fans. My fans are so good, and I like that they keep in touch with me.
Have you perfected a response?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Come on over.
So was it?
Come on over. I'm in the show business a really long time.
This is Cam Newton's exit interview. Cam, are you upset? Yeah, man, I'm happy for him.
Right. What they did to Cam? Why they tell Cam to go home?
Yo, that boy, the boy is nice. The dude that they got is nice.
That practice, they said his practice was unbelievable. That boy nice.
So and why would you keep and comedy? It relates to comedy. Sure. Why would you keep the old guy? Why would you keep the old guy
that's doing the same set?
That's doing the same shit when I can get the new guy that might be the next Dave Chappelle.
Right, got new material. Yeah,
I already know Cam's limit.
Right. No,
he's already reached his limit. I don't know this kid's limit, so maybe I'll take the chance on this kid's limit to see. And matter of fact, that brings up a good question, right? Like, have you seen that? Like, is that a big thing in Hollywood? Because we keep seeing like these comics, and then when we hear their interviews, they're like, "So how long you been on comedy?" They're like 8 years. You're like, what? Like, oh, I wouldn't be doing it for like 12 years, 13 years. And you're like, dude, there's legends. There's people out here that's like 15, 20 years in that are way funnier than these dudes. Why are they not getting the spot? I know you've seen it because everybody see it. Why do you think that is?
It's my fucking life story. What are you talking about?
Why do you think that is, though?
It's show business, dude. There is no right, or it's the wild, wild west in LA. There's no rules to this crap. It's show business. So you can't, again, you kind of like have to have blinders on. And now for real, for you guys, again, like I said, I wouldn't want to start now because it's just, like I said, I could name all the girls, black, white, everything, you know, at a certain point. And you guys, it's just limitless how many performers, how many content creators and all that you guys can't even, you don't even know what you're up against. But the main thing, like I say, going back to just be fearless, have blinders on, and then just, you know, bounce back from everything. I never really deal with, I'm always happy for, and all my, you know, so many of my friends are huge success and huge stars and that, and I'm always happy for them. But this goes, now I'm going to switch from comedy. I'm not, you know, I don't have a whole lot of morals and values, but one thing that I do know is that, you know, you can't concentrate on why did this person get, you know, have a sitcom and they've only been doing it for 5 years and I've been doing it for 20 years. It's because that's that person's journey. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't take nobody else's journey personal. It you know, that's what they supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So with that, Robin, then let's switch this up too, and then talk about your creative process, because I love the fact that you are a writer. And again, I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that in an encompassing totality manner in your career. You've written parts of Pootie Tang and for Chris Rock and many other things, as well as doing comedy. And so with that, how do you do it? Is there a style to it? Are you a person that says, I'm going to do 10 jokes today and then 10 jokes tomorrow? Or are you just like, I'm going to culminate something on stage and then take something from that and then write from here? Or as a writer, do you just write and then cherry pick?
You know, it's kind of all of that. Again, back before the phone, you know, and living in New York, just like 3 major newspapers. So you just read newspapers all day. And then whatever triggers you, whatever subject or article or news thing is triggering you, you could write about that night. And then some nights, you know, I come up with stuff on the fly. Sometimes I walk in and I just have an idea that I've said in my mind and it doesn't feel complete to me, and I'm not going to do it because it's not, you know, I haven't worked on it, but then I'm on stage and then it comes out and it was fine. Again, I mean, I'm a writer. I'm proud of the writing that I did. One of my most proudest things is that, you know, I wrote for Sherry Shepherd for 5 years and 6 seasons. I wrote for her for years on The View, and then for all the seasons that she did the Newlywed Game. And that's a whole thing that was magical. Also what I do now, and again, going back to the fact that I don't talk to I'm not the encouraging, I'm not the one you say, go talk to Robin and let her guide you, you know, because I'm mean like that. So, but you made me forget what I was gonna say.
You did that.
I did.
You like, yo, fuck these young motherfuckers. You like Ben Roethlisberger. Man, he can read the fucking playbook.
I was gonna say. So what I do, and this is any business artistically, especially performing artistically. I came up in Duke Ellington. I mean, I went to Howard for Bachelor of Fine Arts, so I was in the department with the music students, the dance students, the art students, and us theater kids, right? So just in that, you always were told and you always heard that, you know, as the dancers, she's a dancer, and they were best, and they were ballerinas. They went to Juilliard and they became, you know, in the Nutcracker on Broadway and all that. But at a certain point, their body was going to give out, they get older, and the dancer becomes the choreographer. Right. Well, we weren't told anything like that, right? As actors or whatever, you know, kind of, I mean, maybe more of a different culture. They might have been taught you're an actor going to directing. We weren't really. So what I decided to do, I knew that at a certain point, you know, as a comic, that I just became a comedy writer. And so what I have done for many years is that again, I don't take new comics or whatever and teach and all that. But what I'll do is since I know everybody. So if I'm in New York, when I was in New York, and say, for example, like the Letterman was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if my friends, Hollywood, big star comic was coming from LA to do Letterman, then they'd hire me. They come in like 3 days before. I make sure they got in. They're stars, so they don't need me. But I negotiate that for like 5, however many days, and then they go in, they do their set. I give them notes. I'm a really good. I call myself like a comedy doctor. I'll fix your set. I don't write your set, and I just, kind of fix it for you. And I'm really good at editing. And so what I would do is, and I would do that and give them notes. And then by the end of the week, when they're sitting on the couch or on the talk show, saying the stuff that I wrote or fixed, then they're doing the heavy lifting and I'm just getting paid. So yeah, I do that. So I do that a lot.
So this is, it's a two-parter. I'm going to try to remember the second part later, but the first part, writing in comedy has always been a thing. We always heard about like Richard Pryor got jokes written by Paul Mooney, RP both, right? Now everybody's talking about Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Who? Paul Mooney?
You guys know that, yeah. Paul Mooney. I opened up for Paul Mooney for so many years, and to the point that at his memorial in LA last month, I was acknowledged. It wasn't like, a certificate, but I was in the buzz around the whole, and with the family, with the Mooney twins and everything, was that Robin Montague could get a Guinness World Record for being the comic that opened up for Paul Mooney more than any other comic in the country. That's me. So yeah,
I didn't know that.
I was on. So nobody else open for.
Well, that explains a lot. Like I want to say
I was with Mooney for a year. Many years.
So why is it though that we need writers? I want to say this the correct way because I'm like, I don't ever want to actually need writers, and then I'm like, well, I did say I don't want to fucking use no writer. Like, but in a sense of like in rap, right? We see like Jay-Z freestyles his shit, Lil Wayne freestyles his shit, but as soon as it came out that Drake was using reference tracks, like. Everybody was like, well, somebody's writing for Drake. Why is it looked down on? But it seems like everybody uses it.
I think it's more important in rap to write your stuff. But as far as comedy, I mean, Woody Allen was a writer. I mean, all those guys had writers. None of the George Burns, they all had writers. I'm saying it's a cultural thing. We just weren't privy to everything. It wasn't natural for us to know it. The Smothers Brothers had writers. There's nobody that didn't have writers. Do you think those comics wrote laughing? The writers wrote laughing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So yeah, so it's like, and what it happens with, and why you will eventually hire a writer, and probably me, because you know what's good for you, is that it becomes a thing, It becomes a thing with Sherry Shepherd and Kim Whitley or Dave Chappelle, is that they're busy. They're busy. Right. So if they're scheduled to come in town and shoot a late night talk show or the Wendy show, they don't have time to put a set together. They don't want to do the set they did last time. So that's where you will hire somebody because you don't really have time to do it.
So is it better
when you're at that level? So, and those people are extremely busy. You guys don't figure it out because I just see them on the yacht. They're shooting something, they're in something on TV, or they're vacationing. They work really, really hard all the time, and they don't have time for everything.
So like is now because we heard like
that's Kevin the same thing about just one thing. For example, why do the actors and stuff? Why do they have stylists? Why do they have people to get their wardrobe together? They don't have time to figure that shit out. They got to, dude. Everybody needs all the hands on deck.
So should it be that Now, all right, because we heard about like writing groups. Now I've heard this like people used to like sit in groups. They would all write, and then they would pass along jokes. And I've heard of it. I can't say I've seen it. I've heard even in Dave's camp this happens, right? Like where like it's a whole rack of comics. They all start doing jokes and stuff like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, this joke might work better for you." And then somebody would be like, "I get that part," but I didn't know that comics were getting other people to write their Tonight Show stuff. Like I really,
I didn't know
that was a thing.
I can't say. I mean, let's not say it's across the board.
Right,
I'm simply saying that. People get assistance in what they're doing. They don't write the movie. They might come up with the funny thing for the character to do that wasn't written, but the movie is written.
So
we're performers. We're entertainers. Right. So
Do you have a preference, Robin, or is it just at this point so ingrained in you? Because clearly, like to me, you're that aspiration of a comic, in that you've transcended, right? In that you're writing, your onstage persona is just you. This is now you. Do you still have a preference? Are you like, I still prefer the comedy over the writing, or I prefer the writing over the comedy, or is it just like it's just so Robin now? It's just
symbiotic.
I mean, I definitely, my sentence for me is a comedy life. So as long as it's got something comedy, I'm good with doing it. Again, more so than anything, it's a muscle, and that's what we don't get either. It's a muscle. Once the muscle works, you know what I mean? I was nervous about doing this podcast because I don't do podcasts a lot.
Right.
And
you was fine. And I told you it was going to be fine.
But I knew
we didn't even go over the spiel.
Right. But I know my muscle works.
Yeah.
Right.
Facts.
So I think you guys laughed within the first 30 seconds at something, a face or something, because that's the muscle. Even though it wasn't what I had wrote down to say.
I told you we weren't going to go over them goddamn notes, lady. I said that to you. We ain't touching them damn notes.
It's unofficial. It's way too unofficial. We're not that important.
I know. Right. I miss.
If we'd have been like Vlad TV or like Breakfast Club or something,
well, you guys, the facts had to be right. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No,
hey,
exactly.
We ain't gotta do all that shit. We ain't gotta be factually based. Like, all right. So
I love you guys.
This is the second part of that question that I was going to ask. Right. I got in trouble. Second statement around it. I got in trouble. On Facebook because I asked a group of comedians and I was like, after everybody, I said, I hope to God, I know it's not a reality, but I hope to God everybody makes it to whatever point they feel like they want to be, right? Like TV show, radio show, whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
What is everybody's plan for after that? And everybody was like, what do you mean what's my plan for after that? To keep building. And I was like, no, you do know that like everybody's not LeBron. Not everybody plays for 22 years, nigga. Like some people's window of opportunity is 2 years. Some people's window of opportunity is 10 years. Right. But everybody has a window. Right. Now, where that window ends, we don't know. You get what I'm saying? And I think like a lot of people don't realize like they want to look at like they look at like Kevin, right? And they're like, well, Kevin had a long window. Kevin Hart had a long window. And it's like, yeah. But we already started seeing people start pushing back towards him. You know what I'm saying? Pushing back against him.
I mean, fame is cyclical. Fame is cyclical. So, I mean, that again, that's where I say you don't have fear and you can take rejection. So if you can ride the rejection, it'll come back around if you're funny. I mean, that's what's worked for me. I'm not famous. Don't nobody, too many people recognize me on the street, whatever, the guys do. But I'm just saying,
oh my God. Oh my God.
So very
from the
you over here trying to get a new boo.
I'm so very lonely.
I like how Robin, you threw yourself on the
very
wall
lonely.
Too. You threw yourself on the wall too, like exasperated. You kind of pulled your shirt down a little bit, like. Hey,
if you don't stop,
Nobody's looking for
I
me.
will call Tiffany. You better stop
And
playing
this
with
is
me.
thing because I know it's not gonna be edited or nothing, and I'm already gonna be in trouble. And I'm gonna do something to get in trouble about.
Wait real quick. Let's move this from StreamYard to OnlyFans. From StreamYard to OnlyFans.
Do you think I could be on OnlyFans? I don't
Of course.
know.
Yes, of course.
It's an age problem. I don't think they take people my age.
We gotta jump to another interview. Miss Robin.
Oh, y'all do?
Yes, I'm done with you. I am so done with you.
I haven't talked about,
none of your stuff on your notes. I told you
None of these notes.
None of this stuff on your notes.
It was flattering. It was very flattering to hear that you went through the trouble.
I haven't told all the tea on all the comics because I know everything. But that's all right. You guys will have to have me back. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Dude, this is how she talks to me, son. She'll be like, it's okay. And then she goes real like low, real like nice lady and that. And then she just laughs it off real evil like. And it's like, nigga, you better do it. So, Ms. Robin, we'll have you back.
I do fight,
Robin, tell everybody where they can find you. Tell everybody what you got going on before.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be performing in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Yep.
I have 3 nights, 5 shows, September 9th, 10th, 11th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where I'm featuring for Flame Monroe. Flame Monroe is the headliner. You guys might remember him from Tiffany Haddish's Netflix, They Ready. And we're going to be rocking it out at the DC Comedy Loft on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And that's exciting. I want all my home. I'm gonna be home, so I want my hometown to come out and support me. This is a rescheduled, like 3 times rescheduled because of the Rona and everything. Yeah. So I really want people to come out for that. The DC Comedy Loft, it's 22nd Street, and it's the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Just go on the website, get your tickets. Also, I'm working on my Netflix comedy hour, which Netflix doesn't know about it yet, but I'm gonna be shooting that.
Hilarious.
And
that was fucking hilarious.
But they're gonna love it and they're gonna buy it. So we're working on that. Right. So I want everybody to come out to everything that I post. You can find me at Robin is Funny on Instagram and Twitter, Robin Montague on Facebook. But find me, go on YouTube, look at my videos. They're not all new because, again, we didn't post videos for a year, but they're still all funny and really cute.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robin Montague, the legend, as she is. Thank you so much for coming out.
Tiffany when I get off this podcast. I haven't told. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, stay in trouble, baby.
That's why I'm mad with it. That's why I'm mad with it. Straight out the trap with it. Whatever you want, whatever you need, it's on tab, get it. That's why I'm mad with it.